If I told you half the things I've heard about this Jabba the Hutt, you'd probably shoot me.
Right here, Jabba. Been waiting for you.
Hello, Star Wars fans, and you're all very, very welcome along to episode 30 of Blabba the Hutt.
The illustrious Jabba bids you welcome and will gladly pay you the reward of 25,000.
So the only thing that you can tell me is that I will find Jabba at Jabba's palace.
30 episodes. Now, most people, I'm just going to call it out now, most people expect the Irish people to say 30, episode 30, but no, we do have a H in our alphabet, so episode 30 of Blabba the Hutt is now officially live. It has been so long since I talked to you guys. It's just been crazy, and I have 101 reasons to say why that has been. Mostly it's just because I've been crazy busy, and I know my sister in the Force, Kate DeBinko, our Queen of Droids, took the reins there on episode 29 and just decided, you know what, we're going to do a Kate solo episode, and we're going to keep this good train going. So Blabba the Hutt continued on without Jamie, and that is perfectly fine, and I'm very, very happy, and that is why I have the great Kate DeBinko helping me along this. I mean, what would Blabba the Hutt be at this point without Kate DeBinko? So we are 30 episodes in. This is crazy. This is absolutely brilliant. We are over a year and a half down the line with this podcast, and what a crazy little journey it's been, and all mostly thanks to you guys for tuning in each episode and listening to the ramblings of two crazy Star Wars fans on opposite ends of the globe. It has been a very, very busy week in the Star Wars world. We have seen the release of the first standalone Star Wars film, Rogue One. The story of how the rebels got the plans for the Death Star has been told. Our first step outside of the episodic Skywalker story has been told. And we are going to completely dissect that film on the next episode of Blabba the Hutt. This is a very special episode. This is an episode where we invite you, the listeners, to come with us on a journey to the Irish premiere of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Blabba the Hutt has been incredibly honoured to be invited along to the Irish premiere, as run by Disney Ireland, of Rogue One. We were also joined by Matt, who you will know from not only blabbathehutt.net and on Twitter, but he also is the beautiful face of our Cartoon Collectibles YouTube show, where Matt basically has this crazy big collection of all things Star Wars, from a screen-accurate Boba Fett costume to all of his X-Wing miniatures games, his Black Series and his Hot Toys. He's just got the most incredible collection. So what we've invited Matt to do on Cartoon Collectibles, if you haven't watched already, is to showcase some of his collection in a very kind of natural, real and fanboy way. He is as big a Star Wars fan as you're gonna get, and it's always an incredibly fun time to get into Matt's big collection, and have him talk about it, and so energetically and so enthusiastically talk to us about his collection and his Boba fetish, as he calls it himself. So we are joined in this episode by Gary and by Matt, who were also in attendance at the Irish premiere of Rogue One. Now, this episode is going to be slightly different, because what's going to happen is I'm going to transport you straight into Dublin City, into the Gresham Hotel, which is one of Dublin's most premier and most swanky hotels you're gonna see. 3 Star Wars fans probably shouldn't have been in there just shooting the breeze about the film that they were about to watch, but you know what? For the night that was in it, we decided to be a little bit rebellious. So we are going to go in. It's a little bit noisy. It's an active bar. There's 3 of us talking around one microphone, but I think you'll get an air of the enthusiasm and the excitement that we had for the fact that we were just going to go in and watch the first public showing of Rogue One in Ireland. And also, not to gloat or be, mean about it or anything, but it was nearly 2 days before our friends in the United States got it. as with The Force Awakens. Anyway, without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to go straight now into the heart of Dublin City, and you are going to listen to 3 fangirls fangirl about fangirling all over the new Star Wars movie, which is the first one outside of the Skywalker story, first one outside of the episodic timeline, first one to not have the music of John Williams in it, which, by the way, Giacchino did an incredible job. There's lots to talk about it at the moment. I disagree with a lot of it. People are saying that it's like a tribute or a very, very good fan film. I think Giacchino, given all the constraints that he had, did an absolutely phenomenal job, including the Imperial Suite, which I think is a heart-pounding, terrifying version of the Imperial March. It has that regality to it, has its intensity, but we're going to get all to that on the next episode as we return to our regular scheduled programming. But for now, buckle up as we take a trip straight into the heart of Dublin City. Punch it, Chewie. What a way to celebrate episode 30 then in the probably the premier hotel here in Dublin with 2 of my best Star Wars friends.
All right.
Matt and Gary, we are just about to go to the premiere, the Irish premiere of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Can we contain the excitement?
No.
Not a chance.
I don't know. I think I'm probably more excited about Rogue One than I was
About episode 7, I would
purely,
agree.
purely for the content.
Really?
Purely, yeah, totally.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited about Rogue One. I think Rogue One's going to be amazing. But episode 7, I mean, me and you, Matt, we were at the premiere last year. I mean, we were like kids at Christmas because Star Wars was back in the cinematic universe. Whereas I can understand the excitement around this one because it is new story, new content, new characters, people we haven't met, Bart, Saw. I can understand that. But it's going to be good either way. I've heard very good things about it. Without going up, because by the time this goes live, most people who listen to Blabba the Hutt are going to have watched so there's no point in theorizing about what we're going to see too much. What about Rogue One, I'm going to start with you, Matt, are you most excited about?
Besides seeing Vader, right, which I'm really excited about seeing, is Krennic and Galen.
Yeah.
I want to see their relationship. I read Catalyst about 9 times. I loved it. Great introduction. And what I'm hearing back, not giving anything away, is that a lot of people are saying that it's pitch perfect, as in it really sets up the atmosphere if you've read it and embellishes the story even more when you watch Rogue One. But I just can't wait to see the formation of the rebellion.
Yeah.
This is their first major mission. We've been watching Rebels now for how long?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But now this is the first real action that they take against the Empire. We used to have Kyle Katarn, now Jyn Erso and Cassian. So these are new characters that we're getting, and that's really exciting for me.
What about you, Guy?
I'd have to cut across the character interaction. I think it's a totally new band, all bar familiarity with Saw. Apart from that, we have no real clue about any of the characters that are coming in. I think Bodhi Rook is going to be a really interesting one, Imperial pilot and with the Imperial symbol on the trailer. But I also think Gareth Edwards' storytelling and his ability to actually paint a picture is something that I'm really, really intrigued by.
I think I would be very much in the exact same stream of thought as you, because since the very first, since Gareth Edwards started talking about having Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down as the prime inspiration for this film.
Yeah.
All I've wanted is the gritty war. Like, Gareth Edwards is going to put the war in Star Wars.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. The foot soldiers, the beaches. I mean, obviously, Saving Private Ryan, the beach scene is shot in Wicklow, so it's something that's very close to our
it's a big
hearts.
change now from the Maldives being such an absolutely
Exactly,
beautiful
but we're
place.
still going to see that grittiness. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it in the trailers. The stormtroopers coming through this tiny little village. It's going to be war. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be something unlike we've seen, because Star Wars has always been a lived-in word, but it still has that polish, the finesse, like the shine off Vader's helmet. And, it's all still very polished and fine. But this I think is going to be a completely different Star Wars story.
I think we're blessed as well with how big a fan that Gareth Edwards actually is. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video of him talking to Michael Giacchino before they were going to score it, that he was actually physically welling up, tearing to say that they are pretty much the last piece of the puzzle to make this his dream. And I think with him being so protective of it, but having the guts and the gusto to actually
do something
break
different
away and put his own spin completely on
and
it.
Giacchino was only brought on board at the end of September.
Yeah, 3 weeks or something.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
That's That's huge. Like that's, and I'm following Giacchino on Instagram and seeing his posts and stuff like that. And like, equally a massive fan, But like the pressure. But I think they've pulled it off. I've just got this feeling about it.
I think Giacchino's a very interesting story because since obviously there was the press review and then there's the embargo, but we've heard little bits and pieces come through the grapevine, and one of the things that seems to be coming through 100% in unison is the music in this film is going to be spectacular. Now, we knew this from the snippet that we got in the trailers, but I mean that's one of the things that's really going to be a standout.
I thought
for this.
trailer 2 music for me was just fantastic. Even that little bit of piano when we see the X-wing for the first time in the hangar, just something like that. It really does paint the picture.
It's a big job that Giacchino has, isn't it?
Huge.
He's following John Williams.
Is the but not only is he following John Williams, the greatest composer of modern music for film ever. Like, I don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
But he also has very limited time to do that. So you have to hire somebody who obviously knows John Williams inside out, or was heavily inspired by him.
Yeah.
But also is not going to be didactic insofar as they are going to do try and be John Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, this film is not going to have an opening scroll.
Yeah.
We have to get over that. That's cool.
Rightly
I
so.
think we're over it.
I'm totally over it.
I think we're over
cool with that. But the fact is that everything is different, but it has to be familiar. So I don't know what we're going to hear for themes. Are we going to hear themes? Are we going to hear? I don't know. I just can't wait.
I think the one thing that this film needs to do is not be
a Star Wars movie in the traditional sense of the word.
No, it needs to not be a Star Wars tribute act.
Yeah, totally.
It needs to stand on its own two legs, tell its own story, and tell its own story in a single chapter.
Yes.
Unlike, I mean, that's again something we've never gotten.
No, they can't rest on their laurels, and it is a critique I would have given to the Force Awakens even before it came out. It was like, I find sometimes it's kind of lazy storytelling in modern films where they can kind of wait for the sequel. They can't with this one.
Yeah.
They can't. This is a story. We're going to see a film tonight completely.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
At least we know we're not getting a sequel.
Well, that's it, yeah. And I mean, I suppose the idea of the Star Wars trilogy was born out of the fact that George Lucas just had such a wealth of material to work with that he ended up having to say, well, do you know what, I'm just going to sell in the first part of this, and if that's a success, then they have to make the second and the third one.
Yeah.
So it is going to be very interesting where all of a sudden there is this confined 2 hours and 13 minutes that they have to tell the formation of the Republic. Also, it's like, what, four words out of an opening scroll, so I mean, credit to Gareth Edwards for pulling the whole script out of 4 words.
But you remember when we were in Celebration, I want to comment as well, and there's a kind of, within the populace, there's this kind of sedate feeling towards Rogue One. Like, you remember this time last year, you look around this bar, and there would have been at least 2 or 3 other people wearing Star Wars t-shirts. So looking around this bar right now, there's nobody. This seems to be a film for the fans.
Just about to get to that.
Yeah?
I was just about to get to the fact that I have spent, and anybody who's listened to the show knows that I've spent the whole time criticising the marketing around this and saying how, the layman who's going to the cinema with the wife and 2 kids who are going to see the Star Wars film, are they going to expect Kylo Ren? Are they going to expect Rey? Are they going to expect, they're going to look at Jyn and say, geez, she looks very different in this one.
Yeah.
I actually think that this is absolute, they're pandering, thankfully, to the hardcores with this. And I think it's still going to be, when people realise, okay, this is obviously nothing to do with it, people are still going to be able to get into the movie enough to enjoy it.
I think the way we're going to look at it is this is probably the Star Wars film we've all been waiting for, that we've all been wanting, but most importantly, not just obviously caring to Star Wars, that it is going to be a fantastic film at its core. Everything about it is going to be perfection.
I think so. A prediction. This film was originally pitched to Lucasfilm
as a part of the TV series.
Part of the TV series. I think the success of this film, and it will be a bit of a slow boiler, but I think it will crescendo, will spawn or open the doors to a TV series.
Yeah.
I really think so. I mean, I'm sure it's already in the works, but this is definitely...
Well, I'd have to comment on the changeover of Dave Filoni's role within Lucasfilm, possibly having something to do with that down the line.
Well, you never know. I mean, Dave is definitely, he seems to be a man who's being groomed for better things. That's all I'm going to say.
And sorry, Dave, one more thing as well. We've been watching Rebels and keeping up to date with that. I was expecting Rebels to tie in closer by now. I don't know what we're going to see. I did see the glimpse of the ghost in the trailer. I love that. I would love to see something, anything. I would cry if I saw something like that.
A little bit of even maybe Sabine in the background or something. I mean, she'd be the easy one to do.
Even
really,
the ghost.
A voice could do just as much as a familiar voice.
as there's no go-go chopper sabers.
Yes. Leave those at home.
Can we have Chopper though?
We can have chopper,
Yeah.
but no chopper sabers.
Yeah.
And no inquisitors. I'd be pretty happy with if those two things were
Two
left
Irish
in.
actors in this.
Who was in this?
Genevieve O'Reilly
Yes,
playing
of
Mon
course,
Mothma.
Bon Mothma, and Lyra Erso, I believe, is an
Oh,
Irish actress.
playing
Sinead?
Jin's mother. Yes,
Yes, I
correct.
forget her name. Excuse me, but like
Okay.
I'll find out for next time. But like
I should totally know this.
No, it's
Although,
cool.
having said that, Matt, you are the Irish actors, so therefore you are in control of all this in the Blabosphere.
I love sitting here watching you two with big grins on your face. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
likewise,
The
dude.
three of us.
Your grin has just gotten bigger in the last 10
I
minutes.
may have wet myself at least 3 times since we started this.
But you remember, and I don't know, should we say this on the podcast? But
Say
like,
it.
we did a quiz.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, we've a
4
bit-
premiere tickets, and we failed.
Yeah, we
By
came
marginally.
we came third. We were 5 points off the lead.
I know.
Spelling bees taken
Yeah,
off us.
yeah.
Fair play to
that's
the
it.
guys who won, but I think we were robbed. But
Yeah. No,
we
we
got
just
them.
It just
Got
wasn't
them.
our day.
I'm
Was it
so
Mortis?
delighted to be going.
Mortis.
The Mortis. No, it was Polis Massa.
Potus Massa.
And,
got screwed on.
and one Y missing from Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
look,
you can
lads,
do.
we may as well just hang up our podcast in boots and hand it over to the team that won. Okay, so we've gone through all that speculation. Who do you think is going to be the standout Star Wars character? Because the one thing that we've got in this, and again, I'm going to come back to that question. The one thing we've got in this is a huge ensemble cast, which we've seen work really well in films like Guardians of the Galaxy and work really poorly in the likes of Suicide Squad. So that a lot for me is going to hinge on how they introduce and allow each character build and grow and develop within the confines of 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Totally.
Who do you think? I mean, obviously Jin is going to be a huge character, but who do you think is going to be really the standout
take him
Star
out, or do you
Wars
want me to
character?
I
go?
think K2SO is going to be a winner. I love the look and the design of him. I love his dialogue. But I think for me, I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's going to have to be Ben Mendelsohn playing Director Krennic, for the simple reason that when you take a character like Darth Vader, without even the voice, without even the breathing, just his physical stature and the glare of that suit alone, you need an actor of sufficient talent, a really big character,
Stature.
to go up against somebody like Vader. And I think for Ben Mendelsohn to have been cast in that role, he's obviously impressed a lot of people at Lucasfilm, and I've no doubt that he's going to absolutely blow our minds in
I
this
heard
role.
I heard a great story about Ben Mendelsohn, that he was doing one of the scenes with Vader, and that he pulled Gareth Edwards aside, ran over, and was like, "That's Darth Vader."
Yeah, I heard that too on the Rebel Force radio or something.
It was
so
like
good.
It was like, you know, that they had to do all the practice scenes with no suit on. So
I would lose my mind.
And he absolutely burned poor Diego Luna at the Q&A. Diego Luna said, "I think I have the best costume," and Mendelsohn turns around quick as a flash and just goes, "Oh, please, get a cape." And he just walked away. Gareth Edwards just like,
And
stunner.
who was yours? Who was your standout character?
my
Jamie?
standout character, I'm really excited, and I don't know why, I'm looking forward to seeing what Baze brings. I just love how gritty, and he's like the war veteran. He's like the guy who's like, I'm just here to fight the war. I don't care about, you know. That's what I'm excited about. I'm really excited to see Krennic. I think Krennic, all you have to do was put him in a white suit, and you think Thrawn, you think
Totally.
you know, absolute power that this guy's going to have. I'm very excited about Galen. I mean, I think Galen is that kind of, he's very, you know, he's humble. He does whatever he needed to do in order to make us, you know, to help his family. I think his character is going to be quite good. But no, I think Krennic is definitely going to be the one that gets either a series or a, you know, I mean, he's already in
book or a
Scarab.
comic.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I think, and I suppose it'd be wrong to go through this little introduction segment without saying, you know, what do you think about the setup that Disney have here at the Savoy Cinema in Dublin?
Looks good. It looks
really
good.
good,
For, like, I mean, you know, it is kind of compared to last year where we had a giant lightsaber in the middle of O'Connell Street. Right? I don't think
The
you can
stiffy
top
on the
that.
liffey.
The stiffy on the liffy. But it looks great. Great as like a Death Trooper in there. You have a First Order Stormtrooper, which the nerd of me goes, nah, mate, you're mixing up the movies there. But no, it's great. It looks great. All blue lighting, blue hue.
real
That
mellow
was
and
the first,
cool.
the first thing I thought about it was, what's the First Order Storm you're doing there?
So how pedantic we are.
30 years too late.
I was there doing a gig recently. We were talking about Star Trek fans and how pedantic Star Trek fans can be.
Oh,
and
be
then
careful, be
then
careful.
I'm one of them myself, but I usurp myself by saying something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm really excited about this. I just cannot wait.
Throw in another thing actually that we haven't discussed: the new vehicles, new ships.
Yes.
I'm really excited to see the U-wing.
I can't wait to see the Ghost.
I actually can't. Yeah, I wonder does it because that seems like a fleet, like an establishing fleet shot. So I'm sure that'll be once or twice.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that's gonna be our opening shot.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
I think that's our opening shot.
Like
Opening shot.
Same as everyone.
Fleet.
We're gonna have stars. We're gonna have a ship come over, and then we're just gonna see the fleet come in.
I think the addition of the U-wing and the TIE Striker, and apparently the TIE Striker we haven't seen much of it because you've seen the shape of it.
Yeah.
Apparently it's used more for ground combat.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
a real
cool.
low attack
It's
vehicle.
in atmosphere.
Yes,
fight.
that makes sense.
We Lorna and myself have been playing a hell load of Battlefront.
Can we just
play
go
that-
right here
Sorry,
and say
Lorna
Lorna
said-
is here?
Hi,
Lorna,
Lorna.
come in and say. She's more excited about how we're excited.
But like the U-wing, there's a mission now in Battlefront where you have to get the U-wing through that shield generator or whatever. So like obviously that's a part of the story, and they're not afraid to show that. But
Does it have a
it's
unique
beautiful.
sound? I wonder. The TIE Fighter
No
had
pun
its own
intended.
individual. Yeah. Will it have its own unique sound? Much
I'd
like
say
the
it
TIE
will.
Fighter?
I'd say it will. The tie is so iconic at this point that I think it'll probably be, I don't know, like a higher pitch or
Something,
You know,
yeah.
they'll still be the iconic TIE Fighter sound. It'll just be slightly tweaked.
Oh man, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm
Well,
stoked.
you've only got about, what have we got? 37 minutes.
Oh my god.
We
Until
probably
showtime.
should mention to the Blabberverse out there that we're not just going to one showing tonight at the
No.
premiere. After this, because we are that hardcore, we are all going to a midnight show.
We take a half,
That's
about a
how we do
4-hour
it.
break, and then we go off.
This is just a bonus that we get to see it twice
yeah.
tonight.
It was
yeah.
the same with Force Awakens. I saw it 4 times in the first 24 hours. Before Kate, obviously.
You've
Kate,
seen it?
Before Kate had even seen it, I'd seen The Force Awakens 4 times.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Actually, it would be wrong also to mention that Kate actually had planned to come to Ireland
No way.
to go to the premiere.
I didn't know.
Now, this is something we were planning maybe months ago, but I'd said to her, look, I can't guarantee you
Yeah.
that we'll get premiere tickets. And she was like, but it'd be great to come and see it anyway. But anyway, it didn't work out. She moved house. She's completely off the radar at the moment. She's no internet.
I think she's got enough on her plate though with respect to moving into her
absolutely.
new digs.
So
That
Kate
will kill you.
Kate will be back on the show as soon as possible. You got a Kate solo episode in episode 29.
Credit to that. A
Well
lot
done.
of positive feedback from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Yeah, no, she did a great job. She's fantastic at stepping in when my life went a bit nuts for a couple of months there. I've just
Happens
been
us
on.
all. Happens us all. Goddamn life.
How's life on the set of cartoon
collectibles.
You know that brand that's
Yeah,
a part
it's
of my
good.
brand.
It's good.
that
We
I
have a
do-
lot of stuff coming up in the new year. Ollie the cameraman has been unavailable the last wee while. Coming up to Christmas.
Can we make sure that that's all we refer him to as?
Ollie the
He's
cameraman.
now officially known as
Ollie the
Ollie,
cameraman.
Ollie the cameraman.
Ollie the cameraman.
Snaps.
DOP. Yeah, call him Snaps.
Snaps.
That's cool, right?
He snaps.
Snaps Wexley. But yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff coming up in the new year, and yeah.
Anything
bit
that
of-
excites you about the new Rogue One range?
Oh, not massively. Not
No?
massively.
Yeah, that's very
no,
honest.
I want
I
to
appreciate
get.
that.
I want to get more Black Series stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more giant like vehicles.
Yep.
Like the first order.
Have you
TIE
seen the AT-ACT?
Yes.
Oh,
I have. Doesn't blow my
329
mind
euro.
for that price.
Yeah.
Considering the
Well, considering you can buy the Black Series TIE Fighter for £180 on
less
Amazon.
now, man.
Yeah.
It's like 70 or 80 quid. So like I mean, you know, but pretty nifty though. I mean, if I was giving it to, I wouldn't say no. But
Yeah.
for some interesting stuff.
I
coming
would
up
be
in the
very
year.
much in the same boat. I have bought one piece of merchandise from Rogue One, like toy-wise,
Yeah.
and that's the K2SO Elite Series.
Yes,
I would
that's
have to
gorgeous
say the
figure.
C2B5 is beautiful
You
as
got
well. The
that one?
Imperial droid, yeah, it's stunning.
I can't
It's
wait to see
really nice.
him as well. What the story is there. Yeah, I really can't wait.
Evil R2D2. Kate is going to.
yeah.
I'm sure Kate is worried.
Well, hopefully they do it better than they did in the Afra series.
I know I haven't read issue 1 of Afra yet. But
No, sorry, I
bought
mean
it.
in the Vader
the
one.
Vader one, yeah.
Afra's little sidekicks, they're like
Yeah.
Destructo droids.
Yeah.
They just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
So, if you want to look at Matt's face and his big boy toy collection,
You can do that.
you can do that on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Just search Carcoon Collectibles, or else head to blabbathehut.net, and there's a link to every episode up there. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in the new
I've
year.
got loads more coming.
Yeah.
I'm more consistent as well, so I apologise before,
alright.
but going forward, it will
Are you
rock.
sticking with the opening music of Yoda beatboxing because it's
Who doesn't-
absolutely
Who
fantastic?
doesn't want to hear Yoda beatbox?
Yeah.
You know, remember there was this special feature on the Revenge of the Sith where you got to see Yoda do a breakdance. This is just the natural progression.
Well, we've got Lapty Neck on
Lapty Neck,
on
I
Blabba the Hutt, and then we've got
Lapty
Yoda beatboxing. No, looking forward to it, bro. And obviously, Gar are pretty much our lead writer at the moment. You've got some good stuff coming up. I mean, you've got a couple of new books,
Yeah, we got a couple of new books, so there will be a review out on Propaganda very shortly, and I'm also working my way through the Atlas.
How beautiful is Propaganda?
Oh
Propaganda
my God.
is absolutely stunning.
Is there anything in there that just like you were like, I need to tear this page out?
The Alderaan poster.
I was thinking of getting 2 copies of it purely for that, to frame some of the stuff. Like, I know that the posters you get are lovely, but like there's some stuff in the book.
The Alderaan poster, but also there's the Emperor's Royal Guard. It looks like the blood is. It just looks like the paint is streaming off the page.
You know what it reminds me of? You remember Ralph McQuarrie did that book, The Galaxy. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent here, but it reminds you of that Ralph McQuarrie, An Illustrated Guide to the Galaxy.
Tangent away.
It's so good.
I'm really looking forward to going through the Atlas, simply because it has a lot of Rogue One stuff in it already. So we have Scarif and Jedha in it. But even like the character breakdown, it almost looks like real old Shakespeare profiles. But it's really interesting. It's really contrasting.
So you're gonna pop up a few, probably a couple of photos in your review.
There has been there will be, but there's a lot up on Instagram and Facebook as well that I posted that seem to get really positive feedback.
Sweet.
So I would say if anybody's looking for a nice stocking filler for Christmas Day,
It's great.
That would be a really good way to go.
Okay, boys, we're about 30 minutes away from showtime. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna press pause. We're gonna go watch the greatest film to be released this year, and we'll catch up with some feedback if we're still friends at the end of it. So we're sitting here at the moment in the auditorium, ready for the show to start, and Disney Ireland have actually started to play the Rogue One score before us, so we're getting a taste of what it's actually going to sound like, although it's starting to jump now behind us. It's almost a bit like the March of the Resistance, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've had
and
we've had something very similar to Across the Stars. We've had some small bit of semblance.
There's definitely, it seems to have its own flick, but definitely is still very much a Star Wars score. And as we were saying earlier, it's very important for this one to stand alone, but also pay homage to what John Williams has done before. The music has actually stopped now, so that sounds like the show is about to start. So Gary, curtains are opening. Here we go. Woo! So it is currently 5 minutes past 3 in the morning, and I've just come out of my second viewing of Rogue One, and I swear to God, I have probably never been a happier Star Wars fan. You heard us earlier as we kind of squeed about getting to go to the premiere, and I got to chat with Gary and with Matt after the show, and they were all as excited as I was. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to put down anything on the recording, but no doubt in the near future you're definitely going to hear from those boys, and you're going to hear how exciting, or how excited they are. The things that I really loved about Rogue One, and again, we're going to have a much more in-depth conversation about this, and I'm going to try keep this as spoiler-free, so is that, because I know this is going to be going out fairly soon after the movie has been released, and maybe not everybody has had a chance to get to go see it. If you are trying to keep completely spoiler-free, I suggest maybe don't listen to this segment. But as I said, I'm going to keep it quite light on the spoiler end of things, so as that if you don't mind some top line commentary on the film itself, then I suggest you can listen on. The one thing that I absolutely loved about this film was the music. The music was absolutely incredible. It actually sounded like it was scored nearly entirely from the March of the Resistance. Seems to be the beats that were used to build the score around. So that dun 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 dun. A lot of the music has that intensity, and which is perfect for the intensity of the actual the fact that this is a war film. This isn't a love story. This isn't a struggle between good and evil. This is actually a small rebellion coming together. It's absolutely incredible, and the music fits perfectly. Some of the stuff that we talked earlier about was the likes of the standout characters, and I think once you see this film you will understand what I mean, and if you have seen this film you will understand what I mean. K2SO steals this show. He brings an air of comedy that I don't think we've ever really seen in a Star Wars film before. We've seen it crop up in a few of the Marvel films. His I suppose straightforwardness and his direct humor is very reminiscent of that of Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. And one thing that I like about that, and sorry about the background noise guys, it's actually I'm driving home, trying to obey the rules of the road and still talk to you and be excited about the fact that I just saw Rogue One for the second time in one evening. But yes, I thought that K2SO was quite like Drax the Destroyer insofar as he's very direct and very kind of, there's no... He's almost a bit... I know that Drax the Destroyer, when his character was revealed on screen, that a lot of positive media was reported around the fact that autistic kids actually were able to relate with Drax, and I think they're going to have the same connection with K2SO because of that direct nature. He's got a very kind of funny sense of humor that is in a very direct and almost awkwardness, but he absolutely steals the show from my perspective. Other things that I loved about it, I loved there's loads and loads of little Easter eggs, especially if you're a fan of Star Wars Rebels. There is loads of little things in there. I've heard a couple more that I didn't manage to spot or to hear within the first two viewings of the film. So I'm looking forward to trying to find out where they are and watching them again. It kind of reminds me of The Force Awakens when we were all trying to figure out whereabouts in the film was R2KT spotted. So there are loads of little things from the prequel trilogy, from the original trilogy, and even connecting into Rebels. Some stuff that I actually am very excited to see and very excited to hear. I did not think in any way it was dragged out. The pacing of the film was brilliant. We were very, very excited to see a Star Wars film that didn't rely on having 3 individual movies to tell one overall story arc, and Gareth Edwards executed this absolutely perfectly. I mean, the man, I think, has made far and beyond his best movie without doubt. I loved Godzilla. I was a big fan of it. I didn't like it as much as others. I thought it was a good sci-fi movie flick, good monster movie, but the depth to which this movie goes from a character development point of view outweighs Godzilla tenfold. The movie itself has very little that I can actually criticize. There are a couple of things that I think maybe could have been done a little bit better. One in particular is the opening logo. Now, guys, I don't mean this isn't a spoiler by any sense of the word. If you've been following the media around Rogue One, you'll know for a fact that there's no opening scroll. Now, Gareth Edwards and his team still managed to make this feel straight away from the moment the movie starts. From the first thing we see Lucasfilm, and then we know we've got a Star Wars movie, and that is because we get those iconic blue letters a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But after that, there's no Star Wars fanfare, there's no opening crawl. We knew all this going into it. It goes straight into the movie, which I think is very cool and worked really well. But like a lot of movies, we had a short opening sequence and then we had the actual film's title screen. Now, what I didn't like about it is I felt the Rogue One done in the yellow Star Wars style didn't really match what I was expecting and almost looked a bit amateurish against everything else that was going on the screen. I would have preferred to see our gold Rogue One, a Star Wars story logo that we've seen up to now on all of the marketing material. For some reason they decided to change it. The only other thing I thought was towards the end. I thought the ending, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything, this is just commentary. I thought the ending sequence may have been rushed a little. I thought like the third act kind of came to a close and the story came to a conclusion quite quickly after spending an awful lot of time building up the characters, building up the individual segments of the movie, building up all the different elements that are gonna bring this war film together, that the end sequence, I think, was just maybe rushed a little bit in order to bring a resolution within the 2 hour and 13 minute time, running time. That is literally the smallest of all the small criticisms I can give it. Other than that, I think it was a fantastic movie. Straight away, somebody on Twitter asked me, was it better than The Force Awakens? Right now, I'm in a bit of a Star Wars nirvana, and I have to say, I think it is a better story. I think it's a better film. I think it tells a better story at a better pace with possibly better characters. I don't really know. I'm on Cloud 9 at the moment, or Cloud City 9. So I'm going to reserve that exact judgment till later on, till I've had a moment to actually go through it, maybe listen to the soundtrack, maybe read a little bit more about the things that I've missed. But that will definitely be something that I will be diving into later on. So for the moment, I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to drive like a normal person and get home nice and safe. And for now, I will talk to you later on. I hope you enjoy Rogue One as much as I did, and may the Force be with you. So there you have it, the Irish premiere. I'm sorry we didn't get full reactions at the end. What happened was the Rogue One premiere finished, and then everybody went different ways, and then we met again for the 12 o'clock showing that night, and we were just so excited that, it just didn't. We were just talking about Star Wars. I should have hit record, but I didn't. But you got that little snippet at the end as I was driving home at 3:05 in the morning. Happy as Larry. I was like Kenobi in his little speeder. I don't know if you've seen that gif on Twitter. Look it up if you haven't. He's dancing while he drives. A very, very happy Star Wars fan. That was the Irish premiere and the coverage of the Irish premiere of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. We were very, very honoured and extremely humbled to be invited along by Disney Ireland, and hopefully there will be many more invites coming our way. We hope to just continue doing what we do, which is like get excited and be huge fans of the Star Wars galaxy and contribute in our little way to the huge discourse that is Star Wars fandom. For now, though, I'm going to say goodbye, and we will be resuming our regular scheduled programming with episode 31, where myself and Kate will join forces once again. Yeah! We will join forces once again for a full Blabba the Hutt discussion on Star Wars Rogue One and what it gave us and where it's sending us, and all the little Easter eggs and little flicks and homages to the original trilogy and to the prequels, and the music and the characters and how it ties into Rebels and how Rebels ties into it. We are going to have a full dissection of that, as well as what we liked as fans and what we disliked as fans. Was it a perfect movie? No. Was it a fantastically amazing movie? Yes. So we are going to dissect all of that on episode 31, not 31, because we are Irish, but we don't talk like 30, 33. So sorry, I go out on a little tangent sometimes. So please stay tuned and join us for the next episode of Blabba the Hutt. May the Force be with you.